Hi guys, it's James here from Optics Warehouse, your night vision and hunting specialist. And as you can see today, I am once again very kindly joined by Frank Fletcher, our ex-military specialist. And so we ask him anything we possibly can, just as a comparison from civilian equipment to military equipment. So once again, thank you very much for
You're very welcome.
coming out, Frank. What I've got in front of me is what a lot of you would have seen already. It's the brand new Wulf 4K that's coming out in a couple of weeks' time, obviously at the time of recording, which is the middle of August 2021. I just thought I'd just showcase you this unit just to go over it again briefly, because we have now, of course, got the branded boxes. So obviously that wasn't in the Quickfire review, but as I see, we've got the nice big Wulf 4K written all over the box. So just a brief insight, if those of you who haven't seen the Quickfire already, this is a digital day-night recording scope. Obviously you can record in 4K and obviously you record in HD as well, and it's obviously a high resolution screen inside, so you can pick up a very good image. But check out the footage online and see what you think of it. So the real sort of questions we're going to be asking today is just, obviously this is sort of the forefront in night vision technology that's on the market for the consumer, and it's at a very affordable price. Night vision's been coming down and down. The average price you're looking at sort of 600 to 1200 quid now, 600 to 1200 quid I should say, sorry. So in a real world, can you see the similar sort of this digital age where it's gone from sort of like your traditional day scope with a lamp to this digital age? Can you see that developing more so into a military market?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, having studied this and the footage you kindly gave me last night, and actually had a bit of hands-on now, I must admit I'm very impressed. I mean, of course, night vision and the capability increases every year, and it's just remarkable where we're going. And certainly what we have here is comparable with some military equipment which is currently available in some parts of the world. So it's in the civilian market. Firstly, from a military point of view, it is worrying, but secondly, it's game changing in the civilian and in the hunting world, and people enthusiasts at night, you know. So it is remarkable and very impressive.
Oh, good. So I mean, can you see it as, obviously, for example, say obviously the soldiers got their primary weapon system with them at the moment, and they've got the smaller sort of sights on top, which obviously are primarily day optics. Can you see them moving on to having a full-time digital, so they can very easily
without
switch between?
Without doubt. I mean, on the battlefield today, things have changed. Fundamentally, we still resort back to the Mark 1 eyeball, but the problem with night fighting, and remember that the British Army has fought all its major battles at night, whether it's been silent like with Freeport at Mount Longdon, but then the rest of the battles became noisy, so the attack was preceded by artillery and mortars, and it's always given predominantly the British military an advantage by fighting in the dark. So the answer is yes, definitely. And within the sort of specialist groups and communities like the sniper community, they're always looking at new equipment and capabilities and trying to keep ahead of the game.
Excellent stuff. So obviously, with your extensive military background, you do have quite experience of using night vision equipment, and
certainly,
and obviously it is predominantly tubed night vision. I'm presuming that is. How does this sort of compare in terms of, obviously when I talk to customers, I talk about species identification, so it's obviously vital to make the difference between a fox, a badger, a deer, whatever it is. So obviously for a human target, how would you find that in sort of a comparison?
Well, of course, I mean the contrast is obviously different, but it's the same. Sniping or any soldiering in the 21st century is all about almost writing your name on that bullet that you're sending down range. So of course the primary identification of the target, or positively IDing that target, PID as it's commonly known, is very important. So the ability to locate and find a source, or to locate what you think is a target, is the first thing we do. But the second thing is obviously to confirm who that target is. You know, it could be a child or woman. If it's a heat source, we want to fine tune it so we know exactly it's the target we're looking for, you know, with a weapon system primarily. Now this bit of kit, when I was going through this last night, of course it was on targets and animals and things, but you could clearly see exactly what we were dealing with. And not only that, but for me, that perspective of if you were a hunter, you could see exactly your shot placement. You could place the shot exactly at the critical killing point on animals. And so take that into the military capacity. There certainly is a place for this equipment.
No, I say that's always exciting to hear. And obviously, you say you had a look at the footage. Obviously, we've got an extensive amount of footage out there on YouTube at the moment. Now, they're using a different range of infrared illuminators. Now, as I say, there is a market for laser-based illuminators at the moment in the civilian world, and obviously there's LED-based illuminators, and obviously the laser ones have the better advantage. Yeah. So, I mean, has it always been a case in the military where it's always been a laser-based one, or is it just...
Yeah, predominantly, but then there is one thing to consider, obviously, because people are using lasers and stuff like that, then obviously it's a double-edged weapon. Yeah. So when you use a laser, you illuminate in technically opposition to someone using a similar piece of equipment against you. So of course the future is to cap the lasers, or to have put something in place to stop the lasers being detectable to you. So there is more of a rise in these things being used in low light as well as night time as well. So yes is the answer.
Okay, fair enough. There's a lot of, I'll slightly digress from night vision. There's a lot of night vision shooters at the moment that are trying to make the ultimate decision. Do I go for obviously a night vision scope itself, where I know I've got a more guaranteed species identification, or do I bite the bullet, so to speak, to actually go for a thermal optic instead? Now obviously the thermal optic has the major advantage that there is no possibility of a light shining on your target. But of course, it swings both ways, that there's not necessarily that species identification there. If you had to choose, personally, obviously what you've done through the army, would you prefer to have a night vision optic, or would you think you'd prefer to have a thermal optic on your...
Now, funny enough, this has been a dilemma for a while, because back in the day, let's say 10 years ago, the military had some thermal capability and had some II. With IR torch capability, and the decision was which one should go on the weapon system and which one should be within the hands of a spotter, and it was never really ironed out. The answer simply is for it all to be in one unit. Like I was saying the other day, with the idea of fusion, and possibly someone from a night vision company said to me one day there'd be a day stroke night stroke fusion all in one unit. Yes. A digital unit of sorts. Yeah, exactly. Which seems to be the way it's going. You know? But certainly the answer is, I think if it was me personally, I'd have a handhold detection system. I can identify a heat source, and I'll put that way, then I would use a weapon mounted system like this to identify and confirm and see my shot. You know, unless the kit was capable of showing you the heat source of a bullet striking the ground, then really this is a better system to have, and the better configuration. You know,
that's it, exactly. Obviously, you mentioned fusion, and to be honest with you guys, I do think that is the way that the night vision shooting is going soon. I mean, hopefully we'll see in the next few years that sort of night vision thermal fusion, and that will sort of come onto the market, and we're looking forward to it. But to be honest with you, Frank, obviously I've had a good chat about night vision and thermal optics that are on the market at the moment. It's good to get an insight, obviously from your point of view, from a military perspective, and from my point of view from a hunting perspective, and obviously see where the two come across. So thanks for watching, guys. I've been James, your night vision hunting specialist. This has been Frank, our military specialist. Once again, thank you very much for coming out.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been another video by Optics Warehouse.